Welcome back everyone, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Joanna, and if you want to join me on this journey finding true happiness in life, how to live an eco-minimalist life and experience on my travels, subscribe to my channel. And also if you want to know more about my day-to-day life and how I tell it through photos, follow me on Instagram. I would be happy to have you there. Somehow this title could be also what I've learned through the pandemic, because most of the years that I have been in my 20s, because I'm 22, like quite at the beginning of my 20s, but most of the part of this was actually pandemic, so this had really correlation, I think. So in this video I really want to talk about seven really important things that I've learned in this time, this 2.5 years. So yeah, let's get started. A very important thing that I've learned in this time was developing self-awareness. What I mean by that is what I also told in previous videos, if you want to check them out, about mindfulness. But this is something that I really think came out of this lockdown situation as well, and trying to live more in the moment, because you never knew what will happen, and enjoying the things that you have and the things that you are around. Yeah, and I think this time was also really important, because being alone or lonely, even many people were really lonely in that time, is that I've also learned to reflect on myself even more. This may be not the best thing, that I'm now thinking way too much, but like overthinking is also not the good part. But I think it's really important to be able to be with yourself and be able to think about things, and not always being like surrounded by other people, other noises and things that come constantly to your mind. So I think this is something that I'm really grateful that I've learned even more. Like, this wasn't really difficult for me in the first part, but I think that reflecting on who am I and what are my priorities in life, this is really something important that I've learned. What also is under the self-awareness point is that I really learned that my future is dependent on what I do today. Like, this really mindful attitude of the present moment and what I do right now and where I am is really, really important. And also going out into nature, like, I started to be aware of it more than ever, and there are things that I never even noticed. Like, I'm living where I am like for 20 years, but I never really noticed things around me. I didn't really notice, like actively notice, that there's a forest near me and that I even see the Alps from here. So there are the really small things that I really became aware of, and I'm really, really grateful for that. And I really wish that many more people could develop that inner awareness of themselves and about their surroundings, because it's something important. Nowadays we are just so caught up with thinking about other people and looking somewhere into the farther end. Like, I don't say I'm not doing that, but I think I could really develop the skill of doing that even more. I don't know if you can hear these children down there, but they're so loud, and yeah, sometimes it's really annoying, because I cannot just... How can I... Second thing that I've learned in my 20s, but actually started to realize when I was a teenager, is that I stopped caring what others think about me. This also includes like believing more in myself. I always was quite of a weird kid, and like I'm still really weird. Like, yeah, I'm not, like, I don't know. And sometimes it was really difficult for me to just like be myself around people, but I think being yourself is the most important skill that you can have. Like, I don't really know if you should call it skill, but like, it's not something that you should act on. You cannot act on your person, because then you're not the truest self. And I think this is something that is not good for yourself. So yeah, I'm really happy that I developed that mindset about not caring what others think about what I'm doing. Like, of course there are some things that you can just not do in society, like, duh. I think it's really important to not doubt yourself, and you know, like, to try things that maybe people think that, no, this is like crazy, or I would never do that, but doesn't mean that you can't do that. And one of these things were actually starting a YouTube channel as well, which also happened in my 20s. If I didn't have this ability to not care what other will think about me, because this is exposing myself to everyone, actually, the people that I know, people that don't know, my family and friends and everyone. So this is really, like, if I didn't have this ability to do that, I will never do that, because I would be afraid all the time that I would be judged, I would be criticized the whole time. By the way, if you'd like to watch my video about being criticized, you can watch it here. But going back to the point, yeah, I think really important, this feeling that you are sure about what you're doing and what you want to do. And yeah, I'm also really glad that, yeah, I've been able to do that, because this was really transformational for me, and it took a really long time. It doesn't really matter when you are coming to this point, but I think there's something so important in your life that you just stop doing what other people think you should do and being unsure about what you really want to do and caring about what other people think, because most of the time the people that are telling things like that are just jealous of you. So I think this is really important to stop caring what others think. Another thing that I've learned in my 20s or in the pandemic, I finally understood what consumerism is all about and what it is doing to us. And yeah, I think this is something that I've been researching quite a lot, and I was really, like, I'm still really interested in that. But 2 years ago, I really started questioning all the things and starting to be more minimalistic. I'm still on my way to being a true minimalist, like, not about 50 things in possession or something like this. I'm still not there where I want to be as a minimalist, but that's okay, because this is also a process. But I think that the most important part of this was that I really started to understand what it's all about, and that it's about society, what society has been teaching us. Something like, so consumerism really started in the 40s or 50s of the last century. So this is something that is really embedded in our today's society, and why it should be like that. And also the aspect of what is really important to myself and what it is about respecting nature. So all the things really come together, and I think it has very much to do with consumerism and with how today's society works. Something that I don't really agree with. So I think there are really quite a lot of things that I've learned in that aspect of my life, and yeah, I'm really happy, because sometimes I just really felt that there's something that is not quite right, if you know what I mean. Like, there was no real gratification, anything that I did or that I bought, and pursuing that more minimalistic, more anti-consumerist attitude is something that really suits me. If, of course, it doesn't mean that I don't buy anything or that I'm not eating or something, of course not. And I still am on the journey. I'm still trying to learn, because this is not something that is easy. It might seem difficult, or it is difficult, when you never were like in the position of having everything, like financially. Like, for example, in this documentary about minimalism, I think maybe this seems quite difficult, and I think this is not the easiest part as well of this. So, but still, I think this is something that I really want to develop even more in my 20s, and yeah, I mean, my whole life actually. But still, I think this is one big step that I took, and that I understood about the most important things about consumerism. And to be honest, it was also something that I've not only learned from researching and watching the documentaries and all the stuff. It was also something that I learned throughout my studies, because there were some things really related to that, and all of the things really made sense in my head, and it makes sense in real life. So being this person that understands what society and consumerist feeling of us, like the consumerist attitude really does to us, and how it expects from us to work more, to be able to buy more, to be always having more. And I really think this is some sort of wrongdoing in our society. And yeah, that's why I think that a minimalist lifestyle is really something that is not only good for your mind, but it's also good for yourself, for your money, and for the nature. So these are all the things that really come together and make so much sense for me. And yeah, I'm really glad that I came to this conclusion finally. Also, if you want to know more about this, I have a video linked up here, so you can watch that as well. The fourth point is that I realized how important it is to meet new people and also to be nice to everyone. This is maybe something that comes out of the situation that I'm living in Switzerland, and literally everyone knows everyone. Like, you will never meet a person that doesn't know someone from your old school, from friends, things like that. So this is really, there's like, the expression small world is really adaptable here, because you will never meet someone that doesn't know something about something or someone. And this is something that I think is really important, also to have the connections with people, to be in a group of people that you are really connected through something, like people from your studies, and yeah, just like meeting the people and getting to know each other, because you really need other people in your life. And this may sound a little bit weird that I've never realized that, but like, what I mean is really going everywhere you are and try to talk to people. Like, shyness doesn't really bring you anywhere, because without talking to other people, you will never get to know them, you will never know new things, and there are so many benefits that you get from that. Like, it blows my mind what I've learned from other people and what good connections I really could make from like literally really random meetings with people that I didn't even know. And also maintaining that good relationship with people is so important, and you never know when someone will need a favor, and then you maybe need a favor. And this is also really fascinating for me, social interactions and relationships, and I'm really not good at that, but this is also something that I really understood in the recent years, so I'm really happy about that as well. The fifth point that I want to make here is that everything that you do in your life is dependent only on you, and it doesn't mean that you cannot trust people and not confide in other people, but I just mean that you are the only person that can create your own future. Also developing that positive view on the world. Yeah, you are the only person that can do the things that are really important to yourself. I really think that this is really important to understand, that if you want to do something in your life, if you want to achieve something, this only has to do with you. And of course you can have luck, you can have good people in your life, but in the final run, it's like your energy that you're putting into things, this is your passion about things. I just think that this is a really important lesson for life, that you cannot count that someone will do the work for you, because no one will do that. And as long as you don't put the work into it and put your energy and your blood, sweat and tears into it, that you will not get anywhere without your own effort. Another really important point that I think helped me so much until now already is that self-education is so important. And many people just say, like, why are you just reading like self-education books all the time, self-help books, psychology books? But I think maybe this is not something that everyone likes to do, but I think if you have the skill to be able learning all the time, like, I don't mean studies or school, because there are things that you learn like in a specific topic or a specific subject, but most of the time you don't really learn things about yourself or about how life works. And I'm not saying that studies are not a good way to learn things, of course it is, but I also mean that developing yourself and developing your character, developing things about yourself and how you work in the world, I think this is something really important, and this is also so interesting, and I really enjoy reading a lot of books and really reflecting also on them, and talking with people about self-development things and about these books, and also about experiences, because let's not forget, experiences are also really a really great way of learning new things about yourself and about other cultures, for example, about other people. So this is something that I will definitely continue doing all the time, because I've learned so much already with this thing that is called books, but also on YouTube or just on the internet researching things. And the seventh point is that a healthy lifestyle is really something that I really think is almost the most important thing in life. And I not only mean working out or doing some sports, but also things like not drinking excessively, or, you know, like party every single weekend and not having this really nice routine. And these are really things that I'm not perfect in any way. I'm not saying that, but it's just, I think this is so important to do this also right now, like in your 20s, and not start with this when you're 40 or 30, because, you know, like the best time of your life, the most, maybe not the best, but the most like evaluative and most also transformative of your life is, like, I would say between teenage and 30 years. So I think this is really something that I have quite a lot of difficulties to understand about other people, why they're not trying to live a healthier life in many aspects. I really think that taking care of your body and your mind is so important, and health has really a big priority and should have a big priority in our lives, because this is the body that we, in your mind, will be that what will carry us through our whole life. And when we're not taking care of it and of our mind and our mental health, this is not something, it will not serve us right. So yeah, this is something that I'm really happy also to be realizing, that I should take care of these things more and more. So these were my 7 things that I've learned in my 20s already, but of course there are so many other things that I still want to learn in my 20s, and yeah, there will be another video about that. So if you want to see that video, make sure you subscribe to my channel and get notified by hitting the bell. If you liked this video or you found some value in it, make sure to give it a like, because it helps the algorithm. So yeah, it really helps me as well, and not only the algorithm. So this would be really great, and I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. Well, I think I'm just gonna hang it back.